What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is July the 18th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today on this fun Friday morning. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So as far as data points, in roughly 10 minutes, we have the building permits and starts that could potentially impact the market. More specifically, analysts kind of talking about the doom and gloom because there's been a lot of reports saying that the housing market is going to pop. And so I think just this could silence a lot of the bears or could just kind of escalate that a little bit more. So anticipate a little bit of volatility for that. But big one for today is going to be the Michigan consumer sentiment, and that did right now the forecast is 60.5. Aside from that though, the futures are looking pretty good. A lot of cryptocurrency related stocks are really moving higher because of the rubber stamping of the Genius Act and various things like that. But Dow is up 0.2. S&P up 0.18, NASDAQ up 0.08. One thing to take note of though, I know I've mentioned this in the past, but the next big resistance point on the S&P is 63.50. So potentially, if everything goes according to plan, it could hit that. So again, that's going to be something to just keep in mind, that you might see some extra volatility roughly around that 63.50. No different than what happened when we hit the 5,000 mark, 6,000 mark. People struggle with those big heavy resistance levels. So again, you might have some extra random volatility around that price point. Aside from that, you are having a lot of individuals really saying that, hey, I'm going to be voting for a 25 basis point cut next round, even though technically the market doesn't really believe a July 30th cut is on the table, but still it goes to show what the market is really yearning for. Even this morning, I believe Trump mentioned that we should be at a 1% interest rate. So that would be kind of crazy. Stocks would just go up like massive. But I think if Powell, for whatever reason, if Trump is working on something behind the scenes to get him out, that might be a positive for the broader market, only because technically whoever comes in most likely will be out the gate, just do a 50 basis point cut. So that would really push a lot of growth stocks higher. But getting right to it, SoFi is up 1% this morning. No news from them, no SEC filings, just FOMO. Not just with SoFi though, but as well starting with the broader market is having that. And I think just generally a lot of good things, foundation is being laid, as I've mentioned in my dedicated SoFi videos. Shorts surprisingly haven't done jack all this whole week. So maybe they might be somewhat active today, or maybe they might just be going crazy. I'm not really sure. They've losing a ton of money though, but 14.13% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 153.33 million shares overall are being shorted. With it right now at 22.38. Trading between these 2 points, so this R3 and this R2, 22.57 is going to be that next strong target / resistance, which it's easily a hop, skip, and a jump away, so it could definitely hit that today. And right now, I guess for face value, even during the pre-market, we are at a new 52-week high. So deserving of a round of applause for that. Next two stocks I'm going to be talking on are rather odd, only because both of them are getting a lot of volume, and they're both brand new IPOs. So ticker is LAWR, so Robot Consulting, pretty unique name. It is up 82.95%, and both conveniently went down on day one of their IPO, which is usually a very odd thing. This is kind of generally, there's not much stats on them, but this is a market cap right now, 161.78 million. No news, no SEC filings. Still too early to see any short data, so it's kind of just blind for that. But it is definitely starting to move higher. It did have a low of roughly 440, 450-ish during the pre-market, but right now it is at 650. So this one is gaining a lot of good momentum. So if you're looking at getting in, it's still too early to see a lot of the fib levels and whatever else, but just kind of orient yourself to kind of the whole number. So roughly around that $5 will be a strong support, followed by 440, 450-ish, and then flip side, 7 will be the next strong target / resistance, but big money definitely does want to push this one higher. No different than this. Another IPO, ticker is KMRK. It is up 11.24%. So this one's rather odd. Same thing, too early for short data and whatever else. But this one was at a high of roughly around 881 during the pre-market. Has really dropped significantly. Again, no news, no SEC filings or anything like that. But this one, in my opinion, out of the two, definitely does have a lot of good opportunity to really move higher, because it goes to show what a little bit of institutional transactions can do to the stock price. So if you're looking at day trading, definitely focus on this one. It could hit at least, I would say, the 650 again, but what do I know? A lot of IPOs is just a lot of crazy roller coasters, so it's not for the faint of heart. So just do your own due diligence, of course. Moving on, ticker's SRPT. So it is down 24%, unfortunately, because of a patient death that is tied to gene therapy. So not good as far as results, but then again, over the last 1 year, does appear things haven't really been going according to plan, so it is down 85.04%. As far as shorts, 15.34% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 14.4 million shares. So big money is definitely trading it today. Shorts, I don't really see it being that active. They have really doubled down, and that's because of the price really appreciating, but they did double down from about 10% short interest to a peak of 16. So they did pull back a little bit over the last couple trading days, but given the news and the pullback, I feel like they're gonna start taking some profits off the table. That's usually what does happen. But if you are looking at trading it with at 1666, trading between this pivot and this S1, so 1569 is going to be a strong support. So if you're a day trader, just maybe orient towards that as a buy. A lot of these stocks that's kind of selling off very hard. I think generally this stock does have lower volume aside from today, but definitely just watch for that 1569. And then as far as a recovery, just moving over to the 4 hour, you kind of just watch for a lot of these. So 17, 18, 19, but no matter what, just watch for that $15 range. So aside from that, last but not least, Lucid getting a lot of volume. Yesterday we did have a massive, I think the highest amount of volume Lucid's ever had, 940 million shares. Absolute craziness. In case you did miss it, Lucid did have a partnership with Uber and I think it's Nuro, if I remember correctly. And this is for autonomous vehicles. They also did at the same time announce a reverse stock split. So they submitted a preliminary 14A, so they're going through all the proper channels for that. A lot of people are hung up on that kind of aspect. So still something you do your own due diligence. As far as that reverse stock split, it is not for delisting purposes to avoid that. Rather, it's to kind of fulfill a potential new partnership or another deal coming down the pipeline. That's what Mark mentioned in a interview yesterday with Bloomberg. So that's kind of what's causing a little bit of a pullback. It's just most likely that reverse stock split kind of fear. Aside from that, though, as when it comes down to shorts, they've been honestly doubling down this whole time, pretty much this whole year, in fact. But 31.68% of the free float's being shorted, works out to be 390.6 million shares overall are being shorted. Right now, with at 305 during the pre-market, it is trading between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. 322 is going to be that key pivot. You really want to watch for it to get above and close above if you're going to see a continued push higher. Flip side, 289 is going to be a strong support. So just kind of watch for that all in all. But yeah, I think pretty good news did come out yesterday. Again, some people just don't like the reverse stock split news, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on these stocks, on what big money is doing. What are you trading today? Are you kind of selling out? What's your kind of 2 cents on everything? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.